Imagine a world where a single, painless pinprick of blood could reveal your health's deepest secrets. No more anxious waits for lab results, no more vials of blood drawn with intimidating needles. Just a tiny drop holding the promise of answers. This vision captured the imagination of millions, offering hope for a future where medical testing was as simple as checking your temperature at home. Theranos promised over 200 medical tests from a single drop, collected at your local pharmacy. The company claimed it could screen for everything from cholesterol to cancer, all with a quick visit to your neighborhood drugstore. It was a bold idea, one that could make healthcare more accessible, affordable, and convenient for everyone. The Edison machine, a sleek black box, was marketed as a miracle, eliminating needles, vials, and long waits. It was designed to fit on a countertop, promising to revolutionize diagnostics with its futuristic technology. The device became a symbol of innovation, a beacon for those who dreamed of a better, less invasive way to monitor their health. Elizabeth Holmes, Theranos' enigmatic founder, envisioned wellness centers everywhere, empowering patients with instant results. She spoke passionately about putting power back into the hands of ordinary people, making it possible for anyone to take control of their health with just a single drop of blood. The story resonated: democratize healthcare, make early detection routine, and save lives. It was a message that inspired hope, especially for those who feared hospitals or struggled to afford traditional testing. The idea promised to break down barriers and bring life-saving information to everyone, regardless of background. Investors and the public were captivated by the promise of hope wrapped in Silicon Valley innovation. The excitement was palpable, as people imagined a world where technology could finally solve some of healthcare's biggest challenges. Money poured in, and the media buzzed with anticipation. The idea of a single drop yielding a treasure trove of data felt almost magical. It was as if science fiction had become reality, and the boundaries of what was possible were being redrawn before our eyes. Theranos soared on this narrative, attracting powerful allies and vast sums of money. The company's headquarters became a symbol of ambition, drawing in business leaders, politicians, and celebrities, eager to be part of the next big thing in tech and healthcare. But beneath the surface, a darker reality was taking shape, one built on secrecy and deception. As the world watched with hope, few realized that the foundation of this revolution was far more fragile than anyone could have imagined. At the center of this unfolding story was Elizabeth Holmes, a young woman who meticulously crafted her public persona in the image of her idol, Steve Jobs, donning the iconic black turtleneck, lowering her voice to sound more authoritative, and projecting an unwavering sense of vision and purpose. Holmes was determined to be seen not just as a business leader, but as a revolutionary force in Silicon Valley, someone who could change the world through sheer willpower and innovation. She made a bold move at just 19, dropping out of Stanford University and using her tuition money to launch what would become Theranos. This decision was more than a leap of faith. It was a calculated risk, fueled by her belief that she could disrupt the healthcare industry and leave her mark on history. Holmes's narrative, rooted in a childhood fear of needles and a burning desire to help others, quickly captured the imagination of the media. She became a symbol of hope and innovation, gracing magazine covers and captivating audiences with her story. Investors too were drawn in, eager to be part of what seemed like the next great technological revolution. Her original concept was a wearable blood testing patch, a device that could painlessly draw and analyze blood. Although this idea was soon abandoned in favor of the now infamous Edison machine, the promise remained the same: comprehensive blood testing from just a single drop. The vision was seductive, transforming healthcare by making diagnostics faster, cheaper, and more accessible. Holmes spoke in absolutes, never wavering or expressing doubt. She sold her vision with such conviction and passion that it was nearly impossible not to believe her. Her charisma and certainty drew people in, making them want to be part of her mission. As a young woman in a male-dominated industry, Holmes stood out even more. Her age and gender became part of her mystique, reinforcing the idea that she was a trailblazer, breaking barriers, and redefining what was possible in Silicon Valley. Investors and board members weren't just backing a promising technology, they were backing Holmes herself. Her personal brand became inseparable from Theranos' identity, and her confidence inspired loyalty and trust at the highest levels. The myth of the visionary founder, someone who could see the future and will it into existence, became Theranos' greatest asset. Holmes was celebrated as a genius, a disruptor, and a role model for aspiring entrepreneurs everywhere. But this powerful myth would also become the company's undoing. The same narrative that fueled Theranos' meteoric rise would later contribute to its dramatic fall, as expectations soared far beyond what the technology could deliver. Holmes's charisma and unwavering certainty masked a harsh reality. The technology behind Theranos was nowhere near ready. Behind the scenes, employees struggled to make the devices work while Holmes continued to promise breakthroughs that never materialized. In the end, the world was buying into a compelling story, not a proven product. The legend of Elizabeth Holmes had become larger than life, but it was built on a foundation that could not hold. Holmes's persona and vision drew in political and business heavyweights. Her board included former secretaries of state and defense, but notably, there were few scientists or medical experts. This was a board built for influence, not for technical oversight. Holmes cultivated an aura of genius and determination, and her ability to command a room made her irresistible to the powerful. Their presence gave Theranos a veneer of legitimacy, silencing doubters and opening doors to capital that would have been closed to most startups. The board's impressive resumes reassured investors, who trusted their judgment and connections. The media, hungry for a female tech icon in a male-dominated industry, put Holmes on magazine covers and in glowing profiles, amplifying her story without much scrutiny. She became a symbol of innovation and disruption, her black turtleneck and deep voice instantly recognizable. Investors, eager to be part of the next big thing, poured in over $700 million. The list of backers included tech titans like Larry Ellison and media moguls like Rupert Murdoch, each hoping to catch lightning in a bottle. Theranos soared to a $9 billion valuation, and Holmes was celebrated as the world's youngest self-made female billionaire, at least on paper. The company's worth was built on hype, not on proven technology. The ultimate validation came with Walgreens. Theranos wellness centers were set to roll out in thousands of stores nationwide, promising to revolutionize blood testing for millions of Americans. For the public, seeing Theranos in Walgreens made the revolution feel real and accessible. The partnership suggested that the technology was not only legitimate, but ready for the mainstream, but behind the scenes, the technology was failing, and the partnership was already strained. Walgreens executives grew uneasy as promised results failed to materialize, and questions about accuracy mounted. The hype machine rolled on, with PR teams working overtime to keep the narrative positive, but cracks were forming beneath the surface. Investors and partners, caught up in the fear of missing out, ignored warning signs. The pressure to believe in the dream was overwhelming, and skepticism was drowned out by the promise of massive returns. The company's image was built on endorsements, not evidence. Every handshake and photo op added to the illusion of success, while the real science remained hidden from view. The stage was set for a dramatic unraveling, as the gap between image and reality grew too wide to ignore. Inside Theranos, secrecy and intimidation ruled. Employees were siloed, unable to see the full picture. The chemistry didn't work, the machines failed, and the software was buggy. Dissenters were marginalized or fired. Tyler Shultz and Erika Cheung, young employees, saw the truth. The Edison machines failed quality checks and data was manipulated. They realized patients could be harmed by inaccurate results. Attempts to raise concerns were met with resistance. Even Schultz's own grandfather, a board member, sided with Holmes. Cheung resigned, deeply troubled. Both became whistleblowers, providing crucial information to regulators and a persistent journalist. Their courage would help expose the truth. The fortress of secrecy was beginning to crack. The first real challenge to Theranos came from investigative journalism, not regulators. In 2015, John Kerry Rao of the Wall Street Journal began investigating after tips from former employees. Holmes and her team fought back with lawyers and intimidation, trying to silence sources and kill the story. Despite immense pressure, Kerry Rao published a bombshell article. Theranos wasn't using its own technology for most tests, but standard machines from other companies. The Edison device was used for only a handful of tests, and even those were unreliable. The article shattered Theranos' image and raised fundamental questions about its honesty. More sources came forward, and regulators launched investigations. The wall of secrecy was breached. Theranos' fall had begun. The journal's reporting exposed not just technical fraud, but real harm to patients. To run tests on traditional machines, Theranos diluted tiny blood samples, leading to wildly inaccurate results. Patients received alarming or false results, Some rushed to the ER, others underwent unnecessary procedures, and some were put at risk by missed diagnoses. Internal data showed the Edison machines were unreliable, but Theranos kept reporting flawed results. Only one test, for herpes, ever received FDA approval. Theranos faked demos for investors and claimed military use, none of it true. The company prioritized its story over patient safety. The deception was systemic, not accidental. The cost was measured in both dollars and lives. The Wall Street Journal's revelations triggered a cascade of regulatory and legal actions. Federal inspectors found the Theranos lab posed immediate jeopardy to patient safety. The FDA shut down its blood collection device, and the SEC launched an investigation into investor fraud. Walgreens ended its partnership and sued for $140 million. In 2018, the SEC charged Holmes and Balwani with massive fraud. Holmes paid a fine and lost control of the company. A federal grand jury indicted both on criminal wire fraud and conspiracy. Theranos dissolved, its $9 billion valuation wiped out. Investors lost nearly $1 billion. The empire built on hype and secrecy collapsed almost overnight. Elizabeth Holmes's criminal trial became a landmark case in white-collar crime. The prosecution presented damning evidence: internal documents, emails, and testimony from whistleblowers, investors, and patients. The defense painted Holmes as a naive entrepreneur, misled by others, not a criminal mastermind. Holmes took the stand but struggled to explain her direct role in the deception. In January 2022, she was found guilty on 4 counts of defrauding investors, but acquitted on charges related to patients. She was sentenced to over 11 years in prison. Balwani received nearly 13. The verdict sent shockwaves through Silicon Valley. The case marked a rare moment of accountability for tech executives. The message was clear: in healthcare, fake it till you make it can become criminal fraud. The Theranos saga is a cautionary tale for investors, board members, and patients alike. FOMO and charismatic founders led to nearly $1 billion lost. Due diligence was abandoned for hype. Visionary stories must be backed by data, and boards need real experts, not just big names. For patients, skepticism is vital. Even trusted brands can be fooled. In medicine, bugs aren't just glitches, they can be deadly. The scandal led to tougher oversight and a more cautious approach to blood testing innovation. The dream of simple, comprehensive testing endures, but now with greater scrutiny and transparency. Theranos stands as a stark reminder: unchecked ambition, without ethics or evidence, can lead to catastrophic ruin.